Hello and welcome. I am absolutely delighted to be joined by Brenda Dempsey, who is the owner of Book Brilliance, one of the top publishing firms in the whole of the UK. And why I love Brenda, because I actually have seen her in action. One of my very good friends, who I coached, Pearl, wrote a beautiful book called The Path to Pearl. And I just saw online the kind of things that Brenda was doing to help this lovely lady. And Pearl went through cancer, lost her mother, her father. She had an Irish kind of foster mum who she lost as well, all around the same time. And just seeing the kindness and the professionalism that Brenda put together to help this lovely lady Pearl and help her get on stages, help her get a book out there, help her do the most amazing book launch, because I was there actually presenting as one of the main endorsements on the book. I have to say, I had to get in touch with this lady and see if we could collaborate in some way or form to be able to help some other people out there as well. So we have an amazing event next week on the Battersea Barge in London. We're now doing it at 3:30 till 6 p.m. There's an opportunity where I'm going to be talking for about an hour to an hour and a half about how to improve your communication skills, your presentation skills, how to be able to sell your business, grow your business, and also then lead in to how to write a book. Because I found that writing a book, as you can see at the back there as well, writing a book is one of the most amazing business cards you can possibly get that never gets thrown away. It's always back on the shelf in some way or form. And I wanted to partner with somebody who really knows what they're doing, who's won awards and has helped hundreds and thousands of people get their stories out to the world in some way or form. So Brenda, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks very much, Doug. It's amazing. We've known each other even before Peril. Remember, I don't know, at least 6 years ago, we were chatting and we got on the phone, and life kind of takes you on your own little path. But do you know what? When you have a connection with someone, the universe has got ways of always bringing you back. And Peril was one of those ways that brought us back. Oh, a year ago, actually, our book's been out a year, and it was just wonderful seeing you in action, and we got chatting, and it's just been like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, we've got this amazing idea because I'm on a mission to have more voices heard in the world. We need to create ripples of brilliance, bringing out that brilliance and all the amazing speakers, coaches, business owners, entrepreneurs who soon become entrepreneurs. And for me, that's what it's all about, bringing out the brilliance and sharing it and creating ripples of brilliance so we create our own sea of brilliant, or maybe it's an ocean.
I love that. I love that. And what I love about you as well is I've witnessed a lot of authors out there that they get the book, designed nicely, put together nicely, paragraphed out nicely, edited beautifully, and then that's it. And there's nothing else. Whereas what I've noticed with you is that you've managed to get Pearl speaking engagements and get her press engagements and a lot of publicity out there as well. And I think that really showcases the kind of extra effort and that you've gone to for Pearl, and I know you do for all your authors as well. And what I say, if anybody's out there thinking about getting a book out there with ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff, obviously it helps, to be able to get it a bit quicker and all that. But I think for me when I did my book, I think it was simply thinking, what can I give to the world to add value in some way or form? And I've actually made it into an online course first, and then took the transcript and put stories behind it to build out the book as well. And what I love about a hybrid publisher like yourself is that the author, especially if the author's a speaker like myself, you can then, if you're going to an event, you can have control and be able to print out your own copies and stuff like that. And bring them to the event and be able to sell them on as well, which makes a big difference. I think. Whereas if you get one of those big publishers, one of the massive ones, it's a bit more difficult to do that as well. But how did you get into publishing? And tell us a little bit more about your business.
Well, how did I get into publishing? Well, put it this way, I never woke up one day and went, do you know what? I want to be a publisher. No, it never crossed my mind. I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor, I'm a coach. I bring out the brilliance in others. And I never thought of doing it with a book until one day a friend phoned me up and she went, Brenda, I've got a great opportunity for you. I think you'd be brilliant at this. Could you write a chapter in a book? And I thought, me, write? I'm not a writer. I'm not an author. Wow. And then I thought about it and I thought, wait a minute, I've been writing for the last 25 years as an educator and teacher, an SEN specialist. And I thought, wait a minute, I can write. Okay, so I'm on this spiritual journey and I'm thinking, well, the first one is we all have the answers within. That was the first story that I ever published, because I believe that we've got the answers to everything. And I call that your brilliance. And when you tap into it and connect with it. So, anyway, long story short, I ended up in this book, not just writing one little story, but I think I wrote 3 or 4 in it. And she gave me the belief that, and that's important, having a belief. She gave me the belief that I could do it and that I could be an author. Then I don't know where it came from. I thought, being an author, I think that might be a good thing if you're in business to be an author. I didn't know anything like I know today. So within 2 months of that book, somebody reached out to me from America. Well, that was Australia, by the way. Somebody reached out from America and says, we would like you to write a chapter on leadership. Now, I had just left. No, I think I was still. I think I was still teaching, but leadership was a big thing for me, particularly what I call holistic leadership, because I was trained holistically. So you can't just take one bit of a person and make them a leader. It's got to be everything, heart, mind, and soul. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to talk about all these leaderships and do holistic leadership. I did that. That became an international bestseller. I thought, woohoo, I've got a badge. I thought, surely that might help me move forward with my business. And then what happened was I loved the community through anthologies, and I decided, do you know what? I know lots of people and I can help a lot of people, and I know how to put these books together, and I'm going to create one of my own. I called it Pivotal Moments 101, and I went with an American publisher, um, aligned with one of the big uh, spiritual publishing houses, and boy, was I let down. It was money, 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 money. Oh, yeah, we can do it for you for this amount of money. And I thought, can I afford that? I thought, well, I'm still working. Yes, I can. I thought, I want to do this. I had this drive, not just for the book, but it was bringing the women together. And I'd been through such adversity. And I thought, well, if I can get other women to talk about what they've been through and how they overcame it, those life lessons are going to help the reader. So that was a big seed for me. So I published that, ended up having to republish it here in the UK. And then somebody asked me to do another book. So the first one was Voices of Courage, because everything's about voice, that's your truth. Courage is the first step to transformation. You need courage to create change. So I did that, Dr. David Hawkins' work, did that. And then a year or so later, I did Voices of Hope. Then I thought, right, look, we've all got a sad story. We've all had something we've had to overcome in our life. That's what makes great leaders and great people. And I thought, but what about people who overcome and then they create a business out of it? I thought that would be good, because I'm at this stage, I've left my work as a teacher, and I want to have a bigger impact on particularly women at this point in time. And so we did Voices of Hope, about stories of even when you've been through hell and back, that you can create a business around what you've learned. And so we did that. And then COVID came. And I was working with a publisher. I'd been working with a publisher for 2 years. And I was their expert for their children's book. And I was doing some business development work with them and everything. And we were all furloughed and everything went pear-shaped. I've got to say, it went pear-shaped. And my partner said to me, why don't you start your own publishing house? I went, me, a publisher? Do you know how much hard work it is? I thought, I want an easier life. I've just left teaching. I don't want to be like 24/7 attached to my work. Although that's the kind of person I am. I give way beyond. So anyway, Yeah. So I thought, okay, so I spoke to the two girls that I'd been working with. I'm thinking of starting up my own business, didn't really know what to call it, but Brilliance was just there. So I thought, well, Book Brilliance. And then we had to add the word publishing to it, because I just wanted to be Book Brilliance, but we had to add publishing. And so therefore, we started 6 years ago this month, and it was just amazing. And I've got to say, they came and they worked for me for nothing in return in the beginning. I had no money with nothing, but with belief and hard work. And we got a client straight away. And then we got two or three clients, and I thought, oh, this is easy. False sense of security that was. But anyway, so that was it. And I became the publisher. But I'd been teaching English for 25 years, and I'd grown in leadership. There's nothing about how to write, all sorts of writing, not just books, but so creative writing, report write, anything. I taught English, so up to A level. So I thought, well, I can do this. I can help people. Plus, they had more experience in publishing than I did. So I thought between us, the team, we've got over 100 years of experience in business, publishing and education. So we are a bit of a formidable team. And the IPG, we were nominated for an award with IPG. We became a finalist, sorry, we were more nominated. And they called us small but mighty. And so we continue to be mighty, doing more. But I do have to say, it's not about the book. I tell my authors, if you want a publisher that can help you sell 10,000 books a month, I'm not your publisher. But if you want to become an authority, make an impact and a difference, and be transformed, then I am your publisher. And as you said, the book bit's easy. It's what you do when you've done it. And as you said, with Peril, and I do that for all my authors, they are offered it. If they put in the work, they reap the rewards. If you don't put on the work, the book sits on the shelf. So it's about authority, and it's about using your book to the best advantage for yourself, but for the reader, and more importantly, for the world, making a difference. So
Yeah, I love
that's
that.
my story.
Well, and I love that, Brenda, and I know that, and that's why I wanted to partner with you because I could see that because I coached Pearl in presentation skills, and I could see that suddenly the minute she had her book with you, she was getting opportunities to speak on stage. And I think of all the things that I've done to grow my business in terms of coaching, consulting, and corporate training, the number one winner in terms of business development is standing on a stage, giving a speech, and adding value to people in some way or form. So when you can do that, if anybody's listening to this, when you get a book and then you have a publisher like Brenda who actually really helps you get out there and get on stage, you can bring your books along and you can sign and sell them afterwards to be able to add value to people. And obviously, when you give a book to someone, quite often, even if you want to give it away for free, which some people do, that can lead to business as well. And that can lead to other things and bigger things as well. So it's a
Mhm.
great opportunity having a book because it gives you that business card that just always is there and it can really get. And also, I was at the Web Summit recently and there was 75,000 people there with their little stands. And very few of them had a book.
Oh, I should have
But
been there with you. You should have told me about that. I'd have been right there.
exactly. And do you know what? There was a couple that did have a book. And the book explained what they did, explained the story behind the passion and the
Hmm.
purpose
Hmm.
of their business. It
Yeah,
explained what they could do for you. They explained what their kind of new app or their new business or their new tech, whatever it was, could do for people. So it meant that of all those 75,000 people, when you went away from their stand, you had something to anchor and remember about just them. And
that's a
this is the
great word. I like
yeah,
that, to anchor, exactly.
and this is very powerful. And this is what I find when I'm going and like I was speaking recently. I spoke in Dell. I spoke in CyberCentric, which is one of the biggest cybersecurity companies in the world. I spoke in Samsung as well, and all of those had me in. And there's about 100 people in each of the presentations, and they bought books for the people. So I got paid a speaker fee, professional speaker fee of a few thousand, which was lovely. But then because they bought books, where I printed the book out for like 350 or something and sold it for whatever 20 or whatever it normally sells for, you make an upsell and make an extra bit of money as well. And so this is why
Absolutely.
a book is so powerful. And you could end up spending maybe a couple of thousand or whatever it is, I can't remember what it is, with yourself to be able to get a book, but then you're going to get it back so quickly by
Oh,
getting on
absolutely.
stage and be able to get the money back.
Yeah,
And
and
you,
that's what.
you
Sorry,
sorry.
and that's one of the things that we. One of the first things we talk about. Well, we start with brand, so we start from the inside out. But your ROI, we get to that when we're positioning you. So we do things that other publishers do not do, and because positioning is important, and how do we take who you are and leverage that, then compound it and amplify it further with a book. But here's the thing about a book. A book speaks for you before you arrive on the stage. It accompanies you, but it's left behind. Your message is left with that audience when you leave. So a
Mm.
book works for you 24/7. And for us, it works for you globally because you're published in 200 countries and 45,000 online outlets. Everybody wants to get their book in a bookstore. But we'll leave that for another time. That's not the be all and end all, and that's not how you make your ROI when you invest with a hybrid publisher like myself. There's not a lot of money in that. Everybody thinks there is, but it's not. I'll tell you this one thing though. I've got a friend who's a HarperCollins fiction writer, and she's done about 14 books now. She's like very well in there. But she was telling us that those books that you buy in the supermarket that you get for like a third of the cost in the bookstores, you get 2p royalty on every book sold. 2p.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't
To
it?
pee or not to pee. Oh, we've got to carry on.
Well, that's true. So my book is in some of the stores, but yeah, you're right. I always, if anybody says where can I get your book, I say Amazon, because it tends to be a lot better there than it is
Yeah,
in the stores.
absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is, well, if I've got authors in America, and they go, I'm going to speak at an event. I need 50 books, 100 books, and they turn up, and the books are there. And
Yeah,
you're right, they make a bigger profit. They
yeah,
make,
absolutely.
they can make up to 80% profit when you sell your books yourself. But a lot of authors don't want to do that, print and demand and all of that. So you've got to weigh everything up, and that's a good thing. That's what we do. We show you what's possible, and you make the decision because you are in the driving seat, and we're just the navigator. I wouldn't say just, we're the navigator, with all our expertise. And we show you the pitfalls. Oh, don't take that road, go this way, or you'll end up, uh, the barriers are up or something. So it's really important that, I'm sure if anybody's self-published, I'm sure they'll have come a cropper more than once. And I speak to a lot of self-published authors, and then they say, can I publish my book with you instead? Because it's not working, it's not being done right, it's not quality. So we're all about quality. And our biggest value is contributing, and you spoke about that. A book isn't for you, it isn't for your ego, it's about contributing to the world, it's leaving a legacy. But let's flip that switch. We're not going to leave a legacy, we're facing forward. The legacy is for future proofing.
100%. And I had one guy who was suffering a little bit, and he read my book 3 times, and it said it absolutely changed his life. And I think once you're coming from that place of heart and you're trying to contribute, to give
Mm,
and add
yeah.
value, and I think that's the energy that you should always have behind your book. It's not just about making money, but it is a great opportunity to do so as well. But
Mm,
giving back to others and seeing the impact it does is amazing. And what I would say as well is that you can spend 5, 10, 20 grand on a getting your book published, but you can make that back in one speaking engagement. And that's where I'm going to be helping. There's a lot of people out there that might be listening to this who are speakers, and they speak at expos, conferences and summits and everything like that. But there's a big difference being a speaker and a paid speaker. And
oh
as a
yeah.
paid professional speaker myself, I know that I've worked so hard over the years of studying my own self, my own body movements, of how I fluctuate my voice, my tone, my pause, my pace, to be able to connect with the audience and arrive there and really impact them in some way or form. And that's what we're going to be talking about next week. We're going to be really talking, I'm going to be bringing people and showcasing how you can take your speaking, whether it be for a book or whether it be in the boardroom or whether it be, selling to clients, because I obviously was 21 years in sales in the investment management world and fund management world, working my way up from customer service to board director and head of sales and marketing, one of the biggest fund managers in Europe. And I'll be giving insights of how you can sell and pitch your business effectively so that you add value through thought leadership type consultative sales rather than just giving in saying, oh, I'm great, I'm amazing, I'm fantastic, this is the product you need to buy. So we're going to be going through step by step how you can improve. And also, there's a big thing of the fear of speaking on stage. Public speaking is one of the biggest things that people get fearful of. Well, I have insights that I'm going to give next week of how you can completely get rid of that and how you
Yeah.
come from a place to really seek to bless rather than impress. And when you come from that seeking of blessing and love, you come from a different type of energy and people can feel it, you can feel it, and you tend to speak more clearly and concisely as well. So that's what I'm going to be speaking at. Tell the audience a little bit more about what you're going to be speaking about next week as well.
I'm going to be speaking about stories, storytelling, and how storytelling is a big part of what you put in your book, whether you're telling this, your own story, the story of others, universal stories, metaphor, storytelling. So it's knowing what story to use when and how to do that. And just what we've touched on today a little bit about wanting that greater authority, so you're the go-to expert. So when somebody's looking to put you on a stage, they don't just want you to go for free. They're going to pay you because they've got a ready-made audience exactly for what you have. And one of the things that we do as well is create media packs. So you've got everything. I work with publicist, sorry, and really you need to be what I call the ever ready author. So we'll be talking about that, your storytelling, and just who do you need to become to be successful. Just like I'm going to give a plug to one of my authors because he's amazing. So Jamal Ahmed. He wrote The Easy Peasy Guide to the GDPR, been #1 for 3 years on Amazon worldwide, and he's just about to launch another book. But on the back of his book, he was made the Freeman of London. And I says, oh, was that for your charity work, Jamal? He went, no, it was because of my book and because of the difference my book's making in business. And I was like, wow, why didn't you tell me? So he was so
Brilliant.
humble about it. But it's so important to realize a book creates authority before you enter the room. And that's what's important.
100% agree. I've had a few people who didn't know who I was, got the book, contacted me and said, "Look, would you like to come into our business and do a talk?" And it just shows the difference. And my book is very much about business, but it's also about holistic. It's about emotional intelligence, about improving relationships, and it's all round so that you have a more fulfilled and happy life. And that these days it's so important. I always say that money is in exchange for energy, time, knowledge, and experience, and time, knowledge, and experience all take energy. So if you optimize your energy, you're going to optimize your performance. And I hope those who are listening can see that Brenda has amazing energy, and we'll be bringing that energy
It'll be
to the
electric. It'll be
to
electric
to
on the
the event.
barge.
And one of the things that I'm going to say as well is that anybody who's coming along next week, I will not be just talking at you. I'm going to be getting you to doing interactive exercise so that you
Exactly.
can,
Me too. I'm a
yes,
teacher.
yeah, so that people can network and get to meet other people as well. So this is a business networking event as well as just an inspirational talk as well. But as both Brenda and I have been basically saying, we'll be giving you the insights, one, to be able to write a book and get it published, but also then get the support behind the publishing as well. And two, as well, I'll be giving the support in terms of how you can then sell yourself, market yourself, and get out there and get gigs in terms of being able to speak in corporates, in summits, in conferences, expos, whatever it is. And I'll be helping you to be able to craft a presentation, one, to sell your services, and two, to be able to get paid to speak as well. So
Absolutely.
it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. You're going to get to see to passionate, purposeful people who will be there genuinely with your best interests at heart, genuinely trying to help you and genuinely taking you to the next step in your business and your speaking and your book writing as well.
Two peas in a pod, I would say. I mean, everything you're saying, I'm nodding, you can see here because it's exactly what I'm saying myself, It's so important that you understand that and understand what you're getting into becoming an author, because there's too many people who write a book and, as you said right at the beginning, it just fizzles out. But if you are purposeful, passionate, here to make a difference, make an impact in the world, leave a legacy, then your book will be filled with that experience, that expertise, and the evidence that gives you the authority.
Absolutely. And just in case you don't know, Brenda won an award for the top publisher in terms of upcoming publishers. What was the award again? I just remind us.
So I had the award for Publisher of the Year last year, and actually, I think I'm allowed to say I'm just about to receive another publishing award. So now I've been recognized individually, but now I'm being recognized as a publisher who is making waves, who's making a difference, but who's standing out, because it's not about the book, it's about your authority, it's about what you can do for others and the transformation that it creates for you, the reader, and the world.
And I think everybody who's listened to this can see that the energy that Brenda's bringing, even just to this podcast, is the exact type of energy she puts into helping others as well. And I've seen it, I witnessed it, and I've seen the results from it as well. So if you are interested, you have to come along the 16th to Tuesday, the 16th next week, 3:30 till 6 p.m. on the Battersea Barge in London. We'll be there, and I will be literally delivering a talk that I would normally get paid over 5 figures for, to be able to help you take your presentation, communication, and sales skills to another level. And Brenda will also be doing so in terms of writing books, storytelling, and getting your book out there to be able to build your business up to another level. Brenda, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the
Always,
show.
Doug. Always, Doug.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week, and really looking forward to inspiring a few people along the way.
There's a couple of Celts as well, so we'll bring that energy.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you next week. It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show, Brenda, and great to see everybody listening today. If there's anybody else that wants to get in touch, obviously catch Brenda Dempsey or me, Doug Gordon, online on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, or on our websites as well. Looking forward to seeing you next week.